I lost my job on a Tuesday. By Thursday night, I was sitting across from my wife Claudia at Le Bernardin, where a tablespoon of fish costs more than my first car payment. I thought she was cheering me up. Candlelight, soft music, romance, right? Wrong. She swirled her wine like she was conducting a symphony. "I've been thinking about us," she said, the four most dangerous words in any marriage. "From now on, we're 50-50. Bills, chores, everything. I'm only responsible for myself." I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I swallowed the world's priciest mouthful of tuna and said, "Okay." Her smile faltered. She'd clearly rehearsed for a meltdown. Instead, I signed off like a Zen monk and let the gears start turning. If she wanted roommates with benefits, I'd be the most obsessively fair roommate in NYC. Next morning, day one of equality. I stayed in bed. No perfectly timed oat milk vanilla latte. No eggs at 165 degrees. She padded to the kitchen, paused at the empty altar where breakfast normally lived, and asked, "Where's my coffee?" "At Starbucks," I said. "Under your name. Grande OAT milk, 2 pumps vanilla, extra hot. 50-50 includes meal prep, right?" She marched to the $1,500 espresso machine she'd never once operated. The machine beeped like an angry Roomba. I recommended the manual. "Welcome to Independence, counselor." That night, she unveiled the spreadsheet. Tabs, color coding, formulas, a laminated cover, for God's sake. "Proposal for household efficiency," 18-point font. She'd itemized our lives down to toilet paper rolls and bandwidth. Netflix charges were split by viewing hours and bitrate. I apparently owed more because action movies use more data than documentaries. "Your monthly share," she announced, pointing at a cell like it was a verdict, "is $1,247.83. I laughed. Not mean joyful. Because a spreadsheet turns marriage into math, and I am phenomenal at math when I'm motivated. That night I made my own sheet. Marital liquidation analysis. Column A. Services previously provided at no charge. Column B. Market rate. 7 years of free coffee prep, grocery planning, laundry, vet runs, airport pickups, priced, multiplied, totaled. Then a section titled, "Penalty fees for retroactive policy changes. If we're doing business, let's do business." By Saturday, Claudia blue-taped the apartment like a home renovation crime scene. A razor-straight line ran through the living room, kitchen, and, God help us, the bed. "Clear delineation of personal space," she said, leveling the tape like a surveyor. Her side, the good couch, the marble coffee table, the Pinterest floor lamp, the window with the harbor view. My side, the dad recliner with the kick-it-just-right footrest, the IKEA TV stand from our assembly is foreplay era, and the window that looked into Mrs. Chin's laundry line. She vacuumed only to the tape's edge, creating a literal before-after ad for cleaning. That night, I moved my half of the dining table, saw it clean in two, and relocated my triangle to my territory. "You cut our table," she gasped. I moved my half. 50-50. She escalated with laundry sabotage, accidentally mixing a red scarf with my interview shirt. I held up the pink casualty. "Shared laundry means shared risk," she sniffed. So I invoiced her $40 net one with a late fee clause stating I'd wear the ruined shirt to her company gala if unpaid. She Venmo'd in 10 minutes. Memo line, laundry incident settlement. Historic. Then came guest services. Her mother, Patricia, arrived in pearls and judgment. "What kind of man makes his wife pay for coffee?" she demanded. "The kind devoted to equality," I said, sliding a laminated household usage agreement across the border tape. Section 4. 3. Guest coffee service. $6.50 preparation included. Patricia stared at the blue line on the floor. "You divided the apartment?" "Claudia designed the framework," I said. "I'm just executing." Patricia read the spreadsheet, clocked the Netflix bandwidth surcharge, and finally murmured, "Get a good lawyer," then left without coffee. Unexpected ally, inconclusive. Meanwhile, unemployment plus free time equals content creation. I wrote a Medium post. "My wife invoiced me for coffee, a modern marriage experiment." It went viral. 20,000 reads in an afternoon. A relationship site offered me $200 per weekly column. "This is income," I told Claudia. That word she understood. We doom-scrolled comments together, Team Dave versus Team Claudia. She quietly asked if I could mention her consulting business in the column. Product placement, I said. $50 a mention plus rev share. She said, send an invoice. Reader, I did. Then the plot twist arrived with a whisper on the balcony. Late-night soft voice. We'll figure it out. I don't want Dave to hear. The name Marcus, her college ex. Recently divorced. Newly back in the city. So I did what her spreadsheet taught me. Document. Incident report log, entry by entry, odd errands, late nights, face-down phone, defensive answers. When Marcus called her forgotten phone, I answered. Dave? He stammered. Claudia's husband, I said. Fun coincidence. You calling during her downtown client meeting. Silence. Then the classic. It's not what you think. Is it emotional support with a side of secrecy? I asked, because that's exactly what I think. He begged me not to drag him into it. I told him my column had 50,000 readers. He got very quiet. So did I. That night, Claudia offered explanations I didn't need. I opened a new doc titled Exit Strategy, Phase 2. 6 months later, the courtroom smelled like disinfectant and regret. Claudia arrived with Harrison Blackwell, a Silver Fox attorney who bills in units of mortgage. My guy, Daryl Jenkins, wore a suit that survived the 90s and a grin that said, I love a circus. Your Honor, Blackwell thundered. My client endured psychological abuse disguised as fiscal accountability. He divided their home, charged for amenities, humiliated her online, domestic terrorism. Daryl stood unfazed and thunked down a 3-inch binder. Everything Mr. Rodriguez did was per Mrs. Martinez's documented plan. He flipped to the laminated proposal for household efficiency, her formulas, rates, guest fees, the works. She designed it. He followed it. She paid every invoice. The judge flipped pages, pushing down a smile. Mr. Rodriguez, did you really try to charge your mother-in-law for coffee? Per the schedule, I said. She declined service. Verdict, Claudia gets half the assets, exactly what she'd asked for. I keep the condo. I'd covered the full mortgage for 6 months. Custody of Biscuit went to whoever feeds him, which, thanks to receipts and a very enthusiastic tail wag, was me. 8 months later, the tape lines were gone. The table was whole. The remote lived wherever I left it. Biscuit ruled the couch like a benevolent monarch. My weekly column became a book, 50-50 How I Accidentally Turned My Divorce into a Business Plan. It hit number 7 on the Times list. 3 streamers called about adaptation rights. My recliner faced a 75-inch TV in the harbor. Claudia texted, "How are you?" I typed back, 50-50. Half of me misses you. The other half is watching the game in peace. Maybe I missed the version of us that could have worked. But the spreadsheet version? The invoice romance? I was glad it ended in documentation instead of delusion. Here's what I learned. If someone insists on turning love into ledger lines, believe them and balance yours. Keep the receipts. Price your labor. And if you ever have to cut a table in half to make a point, make it clean, make it fair, and make it final. Biscuit thumped his tail. The Mets somehow weren't losing. I raised a beer to the window and to the couples outside negotiating their own math. May their 50-50 be about respect, not revenge. Me? I flipped to the next chapter of my new book. Single Again, Reclaiming Your Space After a Roommate Marriage. The best part of my day was simple. I didn't have to document any of it. Because for the first time in a long time, the reality matched the receipts. Thanks for watching.